So I'm from a small town. I mean, it's pretty small. It's a small town, upstate New York, Saratoga Springs. There's maybe 30,000 people in a couple dozen mile radius, so pretty small. I grew up pretty middle class. My mom was an EMT, and my grandpa was really the only one that was doing well. So he has a successful business to this day. I lived with my grandparents and my mom kind of growing up. My parents got divorced when I was about 1 year old. So I grew up kind of going back and forth with my dad's every other weekend. When I was home with my mom, we were with my grandparents. I knew we had some money, right? I think as a kid, I got everything I wanted. I wasn't overly spoiled. We didn't have, crazy things, but they made enough. My grandpa made enough to kind of support the whole family. My dad left when I was 9, so I remember the day. One day, me and my brother and my stepbrothers were all there, and when you're a little kid, you don't really know, looking back, right? When you're 9 years old, you don't actually know what's going on. So my dad and my stepmom are arguing. He goes out the house, long story short, didn't see him for 6 years. I didn't have the father figure to do the fun things with, or to have a father now. I did have a stepdad, and he's awesome. Nothing taken away from him, but obviously just having a biological father missing was not stunting, but it definitely made you think a different way growing up. And I actually look back, and it's a blessing. And I think when I really got into entrepreneurship is when I was about 12. I started selling gum in middle school. So when I say selling gum, I mean we had a mini business inside of our middle school. I had a partner. We would get our moms to buy all the gum at a wholesale place, like a BJ's or like a Sam's Club. We would get packs of Orbit. I mean, dozens of packs. Going to middle school, selling for $2 to $5 a pack, and I grew that business. I don't know exactly, but I made enough money to buy myself back in 2008 or whatever, one of the phones, the Sidekick, and you flip it up. So that was I went to college for 1 year, and I always felt a little out of place, but I was someone who always wanted to have fun too, and kind of be the cool guy and go out and drink all the time. And I started selling things I shouldn't be selling there. Just got in a little bit of trouble and learned a lot that year when I was 18 about just who I'm surrounding myself with, what I'm trying to accomplish, and it just didn't fit my path. So I left school after 1 year and went home, and I joined a network marketing company. The connections I made in that network marketing company to this day are the reason why I was able to start iComeUp, the company I now own and have been running the last 4 years. I learned a ton from that. I networked my ass off. I got involved in the company. I went all in. I was not making a lot of money. I think I made, my best year was 10, 15 grand, right? But I was picking up so many qualities, so many traits. I was fortunate enough to have a mom, right, who was doing everything she could to support me, because obviously I wasn't going to school and I was trying to enter the real world at, 18, 19. Met amazing people in there, kids that were 19, 20, 21 years old making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Opened my mind up, my brain to know, you really can do this. No matter who you are, you really can go into a business. Whether you start it or you join one that's working, you can go into a business and literally create your own future and get exactly what you want if you understand it's gonna take you 3, 5, 7, 10 years to see the real benefits, right? To be able to do even something like this. That network marketing company ended up fizzling out, so I went to a corporate job. I applied when I was, 20 years old. I got the job. I got a salary. I was making 34 grand a year. I had full health benefits. 2021, working with adults, right, in a company with 60 to 90 employees, and it's what I thought I wanted. I was making more money at the time than I never made. My family was so proud of me because I had gotten a job and done it. And, for about 5 or 6 months, I felt like I couldn't reach my potential. And I divested my interest in this company for certain reasons. I was there for about 6 months. And at this point, I had 5 grand saved in my name. I was 21. I'd been in 2 companies now that, I divested interest in, and I needed to figure something out. I need to figure out, okay, I'm 21 now. My friends are graduating next year. They're going to be going into the real world, getting jobs, making money. I don't have a degree. I got to get going. And I decided to go interview for a guy named Grant Cardone. I interviewed with him. I moved to South Florida. I'd always come down there as a kid with my grandparents. Moved to South Florida, applied for Grant Cardone, and I didn't get the job. So that's 3 companies now, 3 tries. Network marketing company fell out. Corporate job I had, divested interest in that. Tried to get a job with Grant Cardone, didn't get that. So now I'm in South Florida with less than $5,000, and I'm 21, and I have no idea what my future holds. That same day, an old associate of mine and myself came up with the name I Come Up Marketing, and this was April 1st, 2015. It's now February 2019, almost 4 years in. We've been able to go from, in 2015, $9,000 in revenue we did our first year, to last year being our 3rd calendar year, doing about 1.7, 1.8 million. And this year we'll do $3 to $5 million in our 4th calendar year and growing exponentially. And I credit that, and I think the main things are doing things like this with your team. Once your business starts generating money, whether you are operating in it or you operate it, you need to expect from your leadership, and if you are the leadership, you need to give, and you need to have a great tie and bond with a select few amount of people in your company, 3 to 5 people, 2 to 4 people. You need to find people that are going to lock in with you for a common purpose bigger than themselves. I don't show up every day and grow this company for myself anymore. I'm growing it so that I can produce enough revenue to create jobs and opportunities for other people to then step up and fill those roles. And I think when my mindset, and it's still shifting from, hey, it's I need to stash all the cash I can get, to no, how can I grow this company? Or hey, how can my leader or partner or whatever your situation is, how can we all grow this company together? How can we all be fair with each other? How can you all have fun together, all be on the same mission, all want to grow, for the same reason, and then all fill your role and put your head down and grind, so that at the end of the day you can pick up for a second and say, holy shit, this is why we do what we do. This is why we sacrifice some things. This is why we want to go and help more people, right? Instead of just, hey, how can I make more money? Switching from that mindset to, hey, how can I service people? How can I be of service? How can I help them? That mindset shift, I think, will take your business from a few $100,000 to a few million, right? And I know that. I've gotten to a few million. How to get to 10? I can't talk about that. But to do 3 to 5 million in a year, you need to focus on your customer service, how your management team is relaying and speaking with clients, how often, what does your system look like? How can you scale up? How can you take, an excess amount of business and process it and make sure everything is good? And it all comes down to having a system. So off on a different tangent, but I think that the biggest takeaway is, if you're trying to build a company, if you're trying to build a brand, if you're trying to build a good team of people, to me, that's one of the top things, having a good team of people that you have fun with. I think you need to invest your time and money into growing yourself, your team, and your company. I think you need to invest money into getting around people. I think you need to invest time and money in sacrificing some things to attract certain scenarios and situations into your life. And I think a lot of times that takes going inward for me, it was a couple of years going so inward, to figure out what you have to do and what you have to get done, and staying consistent with that purpose and with that path. I've been on the same path, I think since the start of network marketing, which is 6 years ago. So the focus has always been, how can I take care of me so I can start taking care of other people? How can I grow a team? How can I get, right players around me? And how can we win big?